Hey, what's up, guys? A lot of you guys know that I'm working on a talk that I want to get out and do in the corporate America. And what I want to talk about is moving first and winning more, and how speed and momentum turn idea into results. So over the past week, I have done maybe 100 different iterations of this talk, and I've had some great feedback from some of the guys, in our group. And for those of you guys, you know who you are, thank you. So I'm going to give you like a small overview of this and get this topic out. And I want to flesh it out in the meeting and pull your notes from it and see where it goes. So let me start with one question. Why do some companies with average ideas outperform companies with brilliant ones? It's not intelligence, and it's not strategy, it's not information. The difference is execution speed. You see, the companies that win markets are not always the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones who turns ideas into action faster than everybody else. Because the distance between an idea and a result is execution. So let's think about like the weight room, right? If I gave you every book ever written on strength training, every program, every nutrition plan, every study guide, and you spent the next 10 years sitting in that gym studying that, you would not get any stronger. Because strength doesn't come from information. Strength comes from lifting the bar. That's change. Business works the same way. Organizations today have more information than they have had at any point in human history. Books, podcasts, consultants, strategy decks, but information doesn't grow companies. Execution does. So here's the problem I see with organizations, and why I'm putting this talk together is that, guys, you don't have a lack of ideas. You have a lack of speed to execution. I've sat in boardrooms with incredibly intelligent people. And everybody comes in with their talking points and their ideas and their data and their opinions, but nobody wants to test the idea. Why? Because the moment that you execute something, you expose it to reality. You see, talk is safe, but execution is where you find out if you're right or wrong. You can tell me, I can fight, and we can have that conversation all day, but until you walk in the cage and shut the door, you don't know, right? So a lot of people like to talk about things, very few people like to do things, and many organizations get stuck in those types of discussions. More meetings, more research, more talk, more analysis. Let's meet again next week. Let's talk about this some more. And something dangerous happens. You create a culture where momentum dies. And momentum dies, that culture goes flat. And when the culture flattens, the performance follows. So over the years, I've realized something simple, is that every result in business follows the same pattern. X plus Y equals Z. X is information, Y is execution, and Z is the outcome. And most organizations obsess over improving and diving in on the X. More research, give me more notes, more analytics, more meetings, more discussions. Let's talk about it again. But without the Y, without the execution, the Z can never come to fruition. If it's the weight room, if you don't lift the bar, you don't get stronger. Information without action is just entertainment. And the companies that win understand something else. Is they don't just run the equation once, they run it over and over and over. Information, execution, outcome, learning. Then they run it again, and that's called an execution loop. And the teams that win are the ones that spin the loop faster than everybody else. I'm going to say that again. Teams that win spin the execution loop faster than everybody else. Because speed creates learning, and learning creates advantage. Listen, the military figured this out a long time ago. And those of you guys that are military, you know what I'm talking about, the OODA loop. OODA, observe, orient, decide, act. And then repeat. Whoever runs the loop faster in a fight wins. Not because they have better weapons, not because they force their opponent into a reaction mode. It's because business works the same way, right? Like, move faster than your competitors and they stop executing their strategy and start reacting to yours. Like I remember a couple of the SEALs that I'm friends with are like, hey man, we would lay down such overwhelming firepower action at the enemy that they kept their heads down so we could move. Outcome, change positions. Elite tech companies do the same thing. Read about them. Instead of debating which idea is best, they're like, hey, that's a good idea and that's a good idea. Let's run version A, version B. Both of them go live. Then the market's going to decide. And this is called A/B testing. And instead of arguing about opinions, they run experiments, and every single experiment produces learning, and every learning improves the next experiment. And you see what's happening here. And they don't win because they have better opinions. They win because they test faster. They test this, they find out what's not working, they retest it, they find out what's not working, they retest this, they find out what is working, they retest, they find out how to make it better, and so on. Meanwhile, the group over here is still talking about it. Look, years ago I was fixed to hire. Years ago I was I was hired to fix a struggling hospital. And on my first day I noticed that the parking lot, when I got up there, was covered in just trash, cigarette butts and garbage and Coke cans and whatever. And the morale was terrible, and nobody really cared. And I really didn't know what to do because it was my first day up there, and the people up there didn't know what to tell me to do. So the next morning I showed up and realized I saw a problem. I grabbed a trash bag and started picking the trash up for 2 hours, and the next day about 100 employees were standing outside my door, and one of them said something I'll never forget. You're the first leader that we've ever had that actually did something instead of telling somebody else what to do or just talking about it. And in that moment, I had run the equation: information, execution, outcome. And the outcome wasn't clean pavement. That wasn't my goal coming in as a new leader. What was my outcome? Think about that. I'm a new CEO going into a toxic environment where the previous guy got fired and everybody hates each other. What is my actual job there? To build trust, to build leadership and build momentum and change culture. And action creates momentum, and momentum creates culture. So here's the rule that I want us to operate by. And every one of you in business, and you need to take this home. So every meeting must produce an execution assignment. And the next meeting must begin with the results of that execution. Information, execution, learning. Then we go again, because the most valuable people in any organization are not the ones with the best ideas. There's the ones who say, I have an idea, I tested it, and here's what happened. And those people get a special title. They're called GSD people. Get stuff done. So ask yourself, are you a GSD? If not, become one. Then ask yourself, would you rather be surrounded by GSD people or information gatherers? So here's the challenge for the week, right? What are we talking about that we should be testing instead? Because the teams that win don't wait for perfect information. They move, they learn, they adjust, and they move again. So take some of the things that you're talking about, just get out there and test it, try it. The diet, the workout, the prayer, the meditation, the new pillow, the sleeping, whatever. Stop theorizing, stop talking, just start doing, and then just reassess and then adjust from there. Okay?